it is a choice whether or not I wish to be a citizen. You're telling me I have to. You're saying I don't have a choice in the matter.
You don't.
Really?
Morning, people. Well, I posted a clip a week or two ago in regards to the Royal New Zealand Air Force and their particularly low-flying Orion that flew over the top of that power pole, as you can see. Where I was standing and it flew. Fuck you, wanker. Right over the top of our fucking house. And it flew extremely low. I've had people asking me why am I so upset with them. I wasn't. I was just, after 2 hours of them doing circles and the wife combined with the migraine, I was getting fed up with it. The thing that really pissed me off was the fact that last low flying fucker, there was no need for them to go that low directly over the top of me. I don't care what their excuse is. They breached my peace. So what I did is I decided to contact Airshare, because I went to Airshare, which is a New Zealand website all about drone flying and stuff, to find out the location as to where we are, whether what zone it's classed as in somebody's fanciful fucking world. And turns out, I mean, the family's been here 38 years. We know the section itself was sectioned off just after the war as a lookout point for the airplanes, and we are very used to seeing airplanes always flying above us, just not that low, not that frequent, and not that fucking noisily. So, you know, we don't care if airplanes fly over us. It's the point that they were too low, and that if I was flying my quadcopter, which I do often on our own property, then if there was a collision, who do I hold liable? I'm not asking for rules that the sheeple must comply with. I was simply asking, who do I hold liable, and where do they get off doing that? Turns out, and this is what I sent to Airshare. I went, hi, we live at Waimaku. I sometimes fly a drone / quadcopter and are aware of requiring and are unaware of requiring any permission to do it. Today we had 2 military planes, 4 propeller aircraft flying directly overhead our property. I recorded them doing so. The last pass flew an estimated 300 feet above us. If I had been flying my drone, it may have caused concern. Our family enjoys the rural lifestyle. However, these low-flying airplanes seem to be extremely low and buzzed our house. Please inform me what is the lowest altitude these planes are permitted to descend to. I noticed by the colour-coded map that it is a restricted area to ground level. Does this mean I cannot use my quadcopter? If so, what legislation prohibits myself from doing so, should I wish? Perhaps the planes could not fly so low above our property. Our 1 acre section was originally sectioned off post-World War II as a lookout point due to the flight paths of planes, and we see many various aircraft all the time, but these planes today were far too low and breached our peace in the process. Who do I contact for the reasoning behind such a low flight path? Many thanks and warm regards, me. And that was sent to, like I say, info@airshare.co.nz. They responded with, Dear Mark, thank you for contacting us with your query. I have checked on the visual navigation chart and it looks like your property is just inside the boundary of the Nuapai controlled zone, and you are right. Of course I am. This airspace is from surface to 2,500 feet. Regarding the low-flying aircraft you saw today, there is an air show this weekend for military aircraft at the RNZAF Otho base to celebrate the RNZAF's 80th anniversary. The aircraft you saw were probably part of the display practice sortie out of Panuapai Air Base. That took place early this afternoon. If you would like further information or would like to make a complaint, you would need to contact the RNZAF directly. Yep, don't feel like wasting that much of my time, thanks. As far as flying your drone from your property, I suggest you explore the www.airshare.co.nz website. There are different requirements for different types of drone flight. You can find out more on information about Part Rules 101 here. I also recommend that you take a look at our Where Do I Start flowchart to get a better understanding of your responsibilities. For specific advice on civil aviation rules, please contact the CAA directly at rpas@caa.gov.nz. We encourage you to register on AirShare and log all your drone flights via the My Flights tool. Not likely. This allows you to build up a flight log history, understand the airspace restrictions around you, and gain air traffic control authorization if in controlled airspace. Please let me know if I can be of any further assistance. Regards, Emily. Thanks, Emily. Well, here's the rules that she said where I could find them, and particularly this is the rules about flying drone pilots and whatnot. Okay. There are 12 key things that are required under Part 101. You must. 1. Not operate an aircraft that is 25 kilograms or larger, and always ensure that it is safe to operate. Okay, it's only a drone, it's not even 5 kilos. At all times, take all practical steps to minimise hazards to persons, property and other aircraft, i.e. don't do anything hazardous. 3. Fly only in daylight. 4. Give way to all crewed aircraft. 5. Be able to see the aircraft with your own eyes, not through binoculars, a monitor or smartphone, to ensure separation from other aircraft, or use an observer to do this in certain cases. 6. Not fly your aircraft higher than 120 metres, 400 feet, above the ground level, unless certain conditions are met. 6. Not fly your aircraft higher, 7. Have knowledge of the airspace restrictions that apply in your area you want to operate. 8. Not fly closer than 4 kilometres from an aerodrome, unless certain conditions are met. Panuapai's good 10 kilometres away. 9. When flying in a controlled airspace, obtain an air traffic control clearance issued by Airways via the My Flights on AirShare. 10. Not fly in special used airspace without permission of the controlling authority of the area. I control myself, so I gave myself authority and I said yes. 11. Have consent from anyone you want to fly above. Well, I asked all of us. We don't have a problem. 12. Have the consent of the property owner or person in charge of the area you are wanting to fly above. Got that. I asked again myself. Yep, it was all good. So that's part 101 of the rules. 12 simple rules. None of which apply to me. Right. So, that was from Emily. I responded to Emily. Hi Emily. Hi Emily. Many thanks for getting back to me over my query. I do have some follow-up questions, such as 1. Where does the CAA derive its authority over myself? 2. As I have many times in the past flown my quadcopter around home, without permission from anyone, what man or woman is claiming I should start now. I shall not be seeking permission from any other anytime soon. The question was more from the perspective that if I am flying my quadcopter and an Orion from Whenuapai buzzes our house and chooses to fly extremely low, less than 300 feet, I will upload the footage to YouTube soon, to our home and hit my quadcopter. Who shall I hold liable for the damages? Warm regards, me. Emily responds, "Hi Mark. It seems like your questions are more suitably directed towards the CAA. So in other words, they don't know, they have no proof of authority, so we'll just shove you over to the next one. Towards the CAA. So I have copied them into this email in the hope they may be more able to answer your queries. Thanks, Airshare." Thanks, Airshare. Strange name there. Alright, so then I get an email from Mark Houston of the Civil Aviation Authority. "Good morning, Mark. The CAA has the authority to ensure that you operate your UAV aircraft safely without creating a hazard to persons, property or other airspace users. We encourage the use of your machine and can only reinforce what advice Emily has also provided. Because you live within a controlled zone, a CTR, at Whenuapai, WP, no, this is Waimaku, the aircraft that operate there do so with the authorization from the air traffic control unit that are stationed there. As such, and this is a military area, the Air Force can operate their aircraft to military operating procedures that differ from civilian rules." Different rules for them then. "If you want to operate your UAV in the WP CTR, in other words, Whenuapai Controlled Zone, then you can operate it in a shielded operation without ATC, Air Traffic Control, authorization. See Civil Aviation Rules Part 101 that I just read, and Advisory Circular AC 101-1 for the definition and how you can comply. I don't want to comply. I don't have to comply. There's no obligation to comply. Or you can contact the Air Traffic Control Unit at Whenuapai and request their authorization to operate outside of the shield." I don't need to request it. I already have authorization from myself to do whatever the fuck I wish. End of. Their authorization will determine when, where and how high you can fly and is designed to ensure safe separation for aircraft operating in the CTR of your flights. In the CTR and your flights. The best option is for you to log on to your flights through Airshare blah 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 at the ATC folk at Whenuapai, who are very friendly and efficient and helpful for all UAV operators. Will help you enjoying your flying. You have a legal obligation to comply with these requirements under the Civil Aviation Act 1990 to make the sky safe for all participants. Mark, I hope you will review your last statement and consider the type of airspace you live and fly in. For any further information, please do not hesitate to contact me directly. Mark Houston. Regards. Civil Aviation Authority, Level 15, Ashton Centre, 55 Featherton Street, Wellington. Got his direct dial number, email, mobile, the whole lot. Alright. Now, I reply. Greetings, Mark. Please note that I cannot answer for you. Only me, myself, or I. Should you, Mark, refer to myself as you, I will presume you, Mark, are referring to me. It would appear that you have not understood my questions. For clarity, they are: where does the Civil Aviation Authority derive its authority over myself, a man? You claim I live within a military area, where in fact I live on Earth. Are you claiming I do not? The smallest words mark can be the most defining. I would be more than happy to accept any claim of authority with evidence. However, none to date has been provided. Mark, you stated you have a legal obligation. Are you legally trained, Mark? Are you giving myself legal advice? Define who you is, please. I do not understand the Civil Aviation Act 1990, nor am I legally trained or a member of the New Zealand Law Society, as I would need to comprehend the language to understand it. Please provide proof of said obligation and how it applies to me. I have simply asked what man or woman I shall hold reversely liable should I be enjoying my quadcopter at our home and an idiot pilot chooses to buzz our house and damage it. As I have done this many times without permission, as none is required from any other or entity in the past, and no obligation has been provided, the onus probandi would dictate that yourself, Mark, a representative for an entity such as the Civil Aviation Authority, to provide. Should you claim any person must do something, I would point out that in a directional sense the word must is an equivalent to may or may not, and person can be defined as 5 different entities, none of which is a man or a woman, legally speaking. Although it is good to have hope, Mark, what part of my last correspondence are you stating I should revise? Airspace I live in? Again, I live on Earth. The airspace above our home, I shall use as I see fit, along with any public park or area I choose to fly at. I know that unless proven, no entity has authority over myself or any man or woman unless by way of consent or contract through representation of a persona within a conceptual society, none of which you have provided. Most would argue, but you live in New Zealand. I simply state facts. I, a man, I live on Earth, in my body, and consider all to be equal. So for another equal to claim I must comply is not likely without facts. I do hope that thou can grasp these simple facts. Should you, Mark, suffer from any confusion or be able to supply evidence to back your claims, please feel free to contact me, and I've given my cell phone number, for clarification, or send proof to this email. All calls and correspondence are published on public forums for maximum accountability and transparency. Warm wishes, Mark. Have a pleasant evening. And that was sent on February the 28th. As I heard nothing back from him, and according to rules of society, silence is acquiescence, I then sent him another email on March the 9th. Hi Mark, as you have failed to supply any facts or answers to my questions, I will consider there to be no evidence to back your previous claims within your correspondence and act accordingly. Simply put, I shall continue to do as I wish, when I wish, however I wish to, and should you choose to make any further claims, best back them with some facts. Have a wonderful afternoon, Mark. In conclusion, you have my sympathies for your beliefs, absent foundation to back them. Your acquiescence is acceptance. Glad to see you, Mark, are in agreement with me. And that is the end of that. I have not heard from Civil Aviation Authority or Airshare. They failed to tell me what man or woman I can hold reversely liable should there be a collision. I'm flying my drone at our own home, and strangely enough I haven't seen another low-flying aircraft. So hopefully they got the point. If they didn't, we'll see what goes on. But like I said, it is always up for the one making the claim to provide evidence, to state that I must comply, or a you must comply, that would need to be backed with some facts and some proof of consent or contractual obligation for an obligation to exist. There isn't any. So, I shall continue to do whatever the fuck I wish to do with my quadcopter, and hopefully the civil aviation will pull their head out of their asses and either supply some evidence or shut their damn mouths and perhaps provide a service such as answering my questions when I bloody well ask them. They did not answer my questions at all. I've got no one to hold reversely liable, so I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, and that'd be the end of it. I don't get angry with these people. I just ask questions. Some people may take my demeanour or portents as aggression or being angry. Don't confuse aggression with passion. After learning what I've learnt for the last few years, I'm well aware of how the control systems all work, and I'm well aware of what I am and what capacities I can act as within whichever society I wish to be in. So, it's another old story where they leave it up to the stupid individual to believe certain words mean certain things on bits of paper without actually understanding the correct interpretation of the words. And if you are ever referred to an enactment or an act or a body of legislation, ask for the obligation to comply, and ask the person that's giving you a certain under something or other act if they're legally trained, because otherwise it's just the blind leading the blind. The only person or man or woman that I would accept legal advice from is one that's trained in the language. I mean, if you're going to go to Japan, you're not going to go ahead and go there and start speaking English and get upset that no one's listening to you. You need to learn the language. So when I started learning law 4 or 5 odd years ago now, the first thing I did was buy a fucking dictionary. I bought a legal dictionary, a law dictionary, so I could comprehend the correct interpretations of the words. Okay? It's that simple. It really is. And to all those that are out there, you know, like, I see a lot on YouTube where the cops are going, oh, so are you refusing? Don't refuse. Be acceptance. Stay in honour. Always. Never refuse because you are refusing something. You are reigniting a problem. Give a conditional acceptance. Say, I would be happy to do what you're asking, provided you can supply evidence of the obligation. It's that simple. Therefore, you're not refusing, and the one making the claim must back it with some facts. Anyway, that's part 2. Hopefully my subscribers that are asking questions are all cleared away. That sorts out that, and I'll continue doing whatever the fuck I wish to do. Have a great day. Bye all.